Got a bit of transport chaos out there, as you can imagine. Just gone 2:30, by the way, because there is another storm. It's Storm Eowyn. I think I've got that right. Storm Eowyn bringing winds of up to 100 miles per hour. That's a lot of miles per hour of wind right there. More than 1,000 flights are believed to have been cancelled. That's 1,000 flights. That affects about 150,000 passengers. It's funny when you say those words or you hear it on the radio or the telly, you don't think there's somebody standing there at an airport with their family and some suitcases ready to travel. It's a nightmare. Rail services, ferries also disrupted. Millions are urged to stay indoors. Let's speak to a man who never hangs around in an airport lounge. He's always on and off a plane. Travel correspondent, The Independent. Simon Calder is with us. Simon, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Ian, here I am at King's Cross Station in London, the hub for the East Coast Main Line linking London with Yorkshire, North East England and Scotland. Although today, well, you're not going to get any further than the Tyne, nothing running north of Newcastle. Actually, people urged not to travel any further north than York. Across on the West Coast Main Line, of course, linking London with Glasgow. That line closed north of Preston, and that means, well, that's only about halfway between London and Glasgow. There's an awful lot of people who won't be getting where they need to be today. Now, the people here at King's Cross are saying you can use your ticket anytime up until Monday. The big problem is, unfortunately, there's going to be engineering work tomorrow and Sunday, which means that if you do travel between London and North East England, you're going to be on a rail replacement bus.
Nice.
But at least you should get there eventually. And yeah, exactly as you say, on the airs, at the airlines, 150,000 approximately people affected by those many cancellations. Every flight that I can see within Scotland on Logan Air, hundreds of flights to and from Scotland and also from Northern Ireland, and it's been absolutely miserable. Lots of diversions as well. Ryanair has been making brave attempts to get into Glasgow and Edinburgh, but quite often people have arrived in rather different places from where they were expecting. At no stage, of course, was safety compromised.
Yeah. It depends where you arrive at, doesn't it? If you won't, and if you've got time on your hands. If you arrive at a better place, happy days. Look, I'm in Dubai. I didn't expect that. I thought I was going to Scunthorpe. Brilliant, but you know, it doesn't always work out like that. It's interesting, the trains, Simon. I mean, it might sound like an obvious question. Why do the trains have to stop? Because it's a bit windy. We can understand why planes don't fly, but you might think, well, surely a train just goes a bit slower. It can make the journey.
Yeah, OK, so let's start with all the massive cancellations. Actually, the entire ScotRail network is out of operation today. Now, that is going to affect hundreds of thousands of passengers. They basically are just doing this out of what I think they would call an abundance of caution. And yes, they will actually be running trains without passengers on. They're going to be inspecting all the lines before they even take passengers again. There's also cancellations in Northern Ireland, nothing running on the railways there, or indeed the bus services. And I guess they would simply say, look, if you've got red weather warnings, if everyone's being told to stay at home, first of all, we can't get our staff to work in order to do this, and secondly, it's not going to be secure. So yeah, other parts of the UK, well, we've had massive problems with fallen trees. There's been one blocking the line between Stafford and Wolverhampton, really important part of the West Coast Main Line. Another one between Derby and Sheffield, all of them leading to long delays and cancellations. And I'm afraid things are not going immediately to get better tomorrow. Already we've got northern trains saying that they will be cancelling trains on a number of routes all day tomorrow because of the after effects of Storm Eowyn, as I'm going to call it.
I like it. That sounds better. Have you got any good news, Simon? Any good news out there? Something you can tell us? Free holidays for all?
No, not quite. But I am going to say that there will be several thousand passengers who might have thought, oh, our flight's going to be cancelled because nothing's moving out of Edinburgh, Glasgow, Belfast International. But actually, they are going to get away on holiday because you've got airlines like Jet2 going to Rome and EasyJet going to Egypt, where they've delayed the flights by many hours. The flight from Edinburgh to Rome, 16 hours late. They're not going to get to the Italian capital in time for a Roman lunch. They'll instead arrive in the early hours of Saturday morning, but they will get there. And I think they would probably count it on a day like this as a result.
There it is. Let's hope so. Simon, thank you. Simon Calder, travel correspondent over there at the Independent. He's live at King's Cross Station, where there is clearly going to be carnage with the timetables. That applies to airlines and trains in particular. But you check the advice. I know that's all obvious stuff wherever you're travelling, because it really doesn't take much to cancel something. I'm in the southeast, and I was fully expecting, I regularly have what you might call a mini nightmare, or sometimes on a daily basis, just getting on a 24 minute journey, which can divert somewhere as it did the other day. It can just stop, not run at all, be cancelled, delayed. The list of reasons for the delay: we haven't got a station crew or a train crew. There's vandalism on the line, there's trespassers on the line, there's signalling. I mean, it just goes on and on. And curiously, today everything was tickety-boo. And I thought, well, it was a bit windy out there. When I woke up, I noticed the old bin was on its back in the garden. So there are, there's clearly some wind-based issues. Not the southeast in any dramatic way compared to other parts of the country, Northern Ireland in particular. But it's windy. And I thought, I'm scuppered right there early to get to work. It's not going to happen. Not a problem. They always said Southeastern can surprise you from time to time.